Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Practice Gratitude Success Show. And I am here with, well, Len Mooney is here, but he's in the other room. I kicked him out of my seat here yesterday or today because I love Len, but he's here. I might even bring him over a little bit later on. He's with me. We went out this morning and did our videos and things like that. But I like to start off every day by saying who I'm grateful for. And my list has got so big, and it's so cool when you start your day doing that. I mean, I think one of my biggest problems now is to try to keep it down to a few people, or like one person or a couple of people. I can't do it anymore. They're just like, I just creates momentum of more. And I just made this big list of people that I just love every day. So I'm not going to mention everybody today. And I start off with God, then I go into like all these other things in my family, my friends. But I'm not going to listen because it'll take the first 3 minutes of the show. So if you want to see it, go to my Facebook wall or go to my Practice Gratitude Success video of day 138, number 503, and you can check that out. But so I'm gonna introduce my co-host who's been here before back in April, just 3 weeks ago, Stephen Krivda. Now Steve Krivda, he's just a super cool guy, the kind of guy that's like I don't know, when you say his name, when people in the space, the whole marketing space that a lot of us are in, when you mention Stephen Krivda, everybody goes like, wow. I mean, they give right away. You just get this whole feeling of authenticity. He's a very likable person, just a nice guy, great family man. He's got his wife Danielle. He's got his two sons, and you just an awesome guy. And you'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. If you weren't here for the last one, you'll see in just a couple of seconds here. Hey, Steve. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming here today. I really appreciate you coming back. I really appreciate that.
I'm glad to be here, man. We had a lot of fun last time, and we kept going and going and
going. We did. I got you a little emotional, and you got me a little emotional. We're talking about God and family, things, people that we're grateful for, and things like that. It was so cool. And then the show actually went over, and that's why I know. And you had more things that you wanted to share. You didn't even get a chance to talk about your business or anything like that. So maybe we can get into that a little bit later on today and stuff. But let's go back like kind of where we left off. You were talking about who you're grateful for, and obviously you mentioned God, you mentioned Danielle, you mentioned your boys, and the coaching you had from Ray Higdon. He was a real big influence in your life, and so let's just pick off there with with who you're grateful for and why. Let's go back there.
Yeah, where do I start?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
It's funny that you mentioned, I'm going to take one of my earphones out because it gets really weird in my ears. It's funny that you mentioned, you still hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. It's funny that you mentioned, God and prayer and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, I used to do a lot of, because I do everything in my power to pray. I do a minimum once a day. But several times a day, we do at dinner and we do it with the boys at night and all that kind of stuff. And I used to pray I used to ask constantly. And especially when it comes down to business, we always start off with gratitude, and then you work into asking for, Lord, help me be successful in my business and da da da. And I kept going, what is something else has to be missing here? Because it was going, but it wasn't going. And all of a sudden, I was in church about 6-7 months ago, and my father-in-law was actually there, and he said something, and I don't want to quote him because I'm going to misquote. He says, a lot of us, we come to church and we come to get, and he said, I think that we're making a mistake. I think that when we come, we should come to give. And I was like, wow, what an amazing way to think about this. So I started changing the way I prayed. Instead of saying, help me be successful, I started asking, I said, look, put the people in front of me that I can empower through you and give me the power to do it. And that was when really, we all have these, plateaus and things change in our business. All of a sudden we get a boost or a pump. And I'm not saying that that's what everybody should do, but that's where things took an uptick again. And so, yeah, gratitude is huge. We get caught up with wanting success so much that it's all we can think about. And we forget that if it wasn't for somebody asking us, that we wouldn't be here in the first place. So we have to make sure that we are, we have the right people to talk to. So it's just kind of funny, how that whole transition happened. So yeah, where to be grateful, man, I don't even have enough time to tell you all the people I'm grateful for in my life. You know, I can tell you all right now. My wife Danielle, like anybody that's going to my company event this in July, you'll get to meet her. She's going to make her first big event, which is super exciting. And they always say that you should never have your spouse as your accountability partner. You've never met my wife. She's pretty hardcore. She's super loving and an amazing wife, an amazing mom, and she's super cool. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm not allowed to complain. And it's funny when I say not allowed to complain, she calls me out on my crap constantly. And it's great because, you know, when I'm sitting here and, you know, when you get in those moods, you're just like, and you're kind of bummed and, you know, jammed out and, you know, you're just like, I don't know what to do. She has a question. She says, and she's a leaner. She likes to put her hand on my shoulder. And that's when I know it's getting serious. She'll say, Steve, question for you. What's really happening right now? And I always say, what do you mean? She's like, well, there's the story that you're saying right now, and then there's reality. So let's get back to reality. And I'm just like, fine. So it's just really funny. You know, we talk about people that we're grateful for, and you know, and I talked about Higdon last time. You know, yeah. I mean, what do I say about that guy? I mean, I knew him before he was Ray Higdon. And,
right. His name was Jim, or wasn't it like Jim or something like that? His name.
You're right. When Danielle and I went through the roughest part of our marriage, he was the first person I called. He was the one. When I thought we were done,
wow,
I called him. And with about 10, 15-minute phone call, I went home and we had a deep, serious conversation. And that's where we started coming back. And it was because of that conversation I had with that man. Yeah. So, you know, where do I put it? Where do I put who I'm most grateful for? You know what I mean? It's kind of it's a collective sense.
Yeah, that's why I do mine every day.
Yeah.
so many. They're just so. But yeah, people like that you cherish in life. They're just there for you all the time. I bet did he lead into you when he talked to you that day?
No, we were on the phone. Thank goodness.
But he probably leaned to the phone.
Yeah, probably.
That's so awesome to have a friend like that, somebody you can turn to it during a time like that. But that's amazing. That's so cool.
You know what I like about what you're doing here, Bob, is I know so many people that we get caught up in the crap of the day. I mean, it's really easy to get beat down. I mean, it is. I mean, right. I don't care who you are. You're just going to get beat down. Everybody does. And, you know, it's interesting that, you know, man, I don't know, at least 2 or 3 times a week, I start going down that path. It's like, you know, things aren't going the way I want them to go. I'm not doing what I want. You know, I'm not where I want to be and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, it's ridiculous. When I sit back, I'm like, all right, gotta stop. Gotta stop. And when I do it, I take a deep breath and I start thinking about the things that I'm grateful for. And it's funny that you say that because it all starts with gratitude. Because if we miss that, then we're never ever going to be happy. You'll never be happy unless you understand the areas in your life to be grateful for. And there's always something, constantly. So yeah, I appreciate this whole entire show, man. You're freaking awesome. This is amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that because it's so true. Gratitude is like you just said. If you miss that, you miss a whole thing. And I think it might have been Ray Higdon. It was Ray Higdon recently. He sent out. I don't know how recent it was. I saw it recently because I'm not in any of his programs or anything like that. But I'm very aware of Ray Higdon. Whenever there's a chance to see one of his videos, I watch because he's so awesome. But he was talking about just that, Steve. He was talking about making his first million, how he felt great, and then making these several million, all these wonderful things he's doing. And I think he was at the event, the big event they have in Las Vegas. Yeah, with Eric Worre and stuff like that.
Yeah, GoPro.
And he mentioned the fact about he wasn't taking the time. Well, this was right when Jessica's wife was having a baby. And he stopped because she was actually even talking about having, and do some labor so he can make it there. And he says, no, just stop it. Just let everything happen just the way it's supposed. I won't go there if that's because he wanted to be appreciate the things that's important in life, and that's what's important in life. The ones that you love, your family is so important. And unless we remind ourselves, we stay in that space all the time. We miss the importance of life.
Yeah.
What are any accomplishments if we don't have that love and complete gratitude in our heart? That's where all the juice is.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I mean, that's why I do these daily reminders every single day. And I know sometimes they go a little bit too long and things like that, but it's so what it does, it creates momentum of more. It just creates momentum of now you're into that space. And Len Mooney and I this morning we're over at Fiesta Island, a place where we go all the time to do our videos. And there's a fellow over there named Andy. We call him the Guru of Fiesta Island. And whenever we're there, we always include him in the videos as well. And he's a homeless guy, but he's not really a homeless guy. He's a hermit.
Okay.
He hangs out under a big eucalyptus tree. He's got a big park bench, and he doesn't do anything to harm anybody. He's by himself. He's just real cool. I'm not the only one who I bring him stuff a lot. Now I bring him these. I bring him these this stuff that we're taking this organic greens and reds and things like that. And he loves it. He loves this stuff. But we're talking about the importance of cooperating today. Just Len and I was today about how people. Don't get into that whole competition mindset. Collaborate. There is no competition. If everybody collaborates, if we're all climbing a mountain of success, and you help each other up the mountain, you help each other up, you're going to appreciate that. Don't be the kind of guy that stands in somebody's way and even pushes them off the path. Don't do that, because then you're going to remember that too. You're going to remember the ones who helped you, and you're going to remember the ones that didn't help you. So always reach out and help people that are next to you. Anybody you can, just go there and just be the guy. Like you will never forget what Ray Higdon did for you that day. You will never forget that.
You want to hear something interesting, and maybe you guys will get it. You'll dig this. I was last night. Our business has been really good lately, and it's been growing, and it's just been going in a direction that we all want, we all look for. We look for. I was in a thing this weekend, a conference this weekend. We're talking about not duplication, but cloning yourself. And I have actually a couple of people on my team that are actually starting to do what I'm doing. And I sat back and I did a one-on-one meeting. I do old school marketing too. I love one-on-one meetings. And I was actually at Starbucks. I was complete stereotypical. And I sat there, I presented in about 20 minutes. The guy's like, "Yo, this is it. I want to do this." So I had him fill out the application, took the application away. Danielle and the boys are up with me because we went to go to Bass Pro because it was right next door. And I get in the car and I kind of got a little solemn. And she's like, "What's up?" Because she always knows. And I said, I sit here sometimes and I feel guilty because of the way things are going. And I want you to catch really close to this. And I said, I feel guilty because sometimes I don't feel like I deserve the blessings that I get. Now, that is a serious mindset issue, because it's not necessarily you're not deserving of the blessings, but that I deserve the blessings over other people. So I sat there and we had a very short conversation, and typically she just lets me speak as I'm talking to myself. And I said, it's interesting that I'm thinking like this right now. I said, because as I go, I'm getting closer and closer to God. Every single day something happens where I just like, oh my gosh, I have these crazy, crazy faith epiphanies. And I was like, that's a very selfish thing for me to think, because I don't know what a blessing is to somebody else. I don't know that person that was on the street that now went from sleeping on the concrete, now has a mattress. That they're like, oh my gosh, thank you, God. This is what I've been praying for. I don't know what people's blessings are. So it was an interesting thing to think, that I was actually feeling guilty that I was being blessed so much, because I have been in my life. In fact, the words that I said were, it's hard for me to understand what I've done to deserve these sort of blessings in my life. And look, we can be good people. We can spread God's name and all that kind of stuff. And, we can praise each other and all that kind of great stuff. But you still, some point in time, you start asking yourself, you know, where is this coming from? You know, am I on a streak? Because we can't do things enough to please him. We can only just try to live and spread. You know what I mean? You can't have him. It's not gonna give you for the works that we do. So it's an interesting. It was just a very it was scary to think about. You know what I mean? Because I was like, man, I thought I was past all this stuff. So I wanted to share that with y'all because I think that's really important. That no matter where you are, and I've talked to some big dogs in the industry, and they've all done the same thing. They're like, yeah, you know, I've been through that. So it's not a deserving or a belief that I'm deserving. It's like, how is it one person can be above or feel more blessed than another person? And when in reality, maybe there are people with less than me that feel way more blessed than I do. So it's an interesting thought to go through.
Amen. Just like the guy I mentioned over Fiesta Island, the guy is perfectly happy. Perfectly happy. He's got everything he needs right there, and he's not working. He's not stressing. He's just everything is just comes to him. Well, I'm not the only one who brings some stuff. Everybody brings some things. He's got a stove. He's got a solar. I bought him a solar radio last Christmas. That's a Christmas present. He's got everything he needs. You know, so it's just, you know, it's all perception. It's all perception. And I think God wants us to be the best that we can be. I think the love that he has inside of us we are that, and it's up to us to honor that, to go out there and be our best self. Because if we feel guilty about it, we're putting ourselves on a low vibration, and if we're vibrating at a low frequency, we're not going to open up. We're not going to allow the goodness to come into us. So that's not a really good place to be. But I understand it's just reflection that you had.
Yeah,
but we need to keep our vibrations high.
Yeah, totally. Listen, I don't want this to become a sermon because I've preached before. I do a sermon every Wednesday, so I don't want to do that now. You'll never stop me, by the way.
So yeah, I think that's fine. Just if you want a sermon.
I do. Ray had a good question. Ray Tarley had a good question, and I hope I'm saying Tarley correctly. What are the top 3 elements that I've learned from being in Ray Higdon's program that help create success for you or for me? That's an amazing question because he actually asked me that last summer. Wait, last summer? Where are we? We're in May? Yeah, right before the last Top Earner Academy. And I think that's such a good question because he asked me, he's like, what did you get out of the last 12 months? And I was like, and I think I said this last time, but I want to reiterate it really quick. The biggest thing that I did was that, it was a huge sum of money for me to, especially for our family at the position we were in, to pay for a year with Ray. And the first huge major thing was the taking my credit card out and giving it to somebody and paying for it. That was the biggest thing because I said to myself that I am worthy of this, that I am worthy of this education for myself because I know that I will do something, you know. And what it did was that my phone is vibrating. Let me put it on the floor. That I told myself without using the words that I'm worthy of this. So what that does is that you want to talk about vibration. You know, we talk about taking ourselves to a different level. My vibration went skyrocketing because all of a sudden I felt worthy. You know what I mean? So that's a big one. And of course, you know, I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of money. I need to get to work. So that was number 1. Number 2 was, you know, when you're around that kind of a caliber, you change the way you think of yourself. You become that person, you know, and we had amazing trainers, but when you're hanging out with people like Rodriguez and Harbert and Eliza and Russell Brunson was there. We had, who else came in? Ben Settle was there. I mean, we had some crazy, of course the Higdons. Egan was there. He was training. Like when you're hanging out with people like that and you're in it, and like I was with $1 million earners and I'm nowhere near $1 million a year. You feel like that, and you all of a sudden become that person, and you start respecting yourself more because now you're Now you're part of that, you know, and success club, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to name it. It's that feeling that you get. So one was worth, and one all of a sudden I was like, all right, so I'm here. And then the third thing was, this is the big one, that when I was hanging out with these people, I had authentic conversation. It wasn't like, tell me what the secrets are, I want to know what you're doing. And it wasn't anything like that. It was like just having a talk, just like, hey, what's up? You know, we're having a beer together. It was great. And we're just talking back and forth. And it was like, man, these guys are just normal people. And the biggest thing that they did was they were just a whole hell of a lot more consistent to me. That was it. I mean, that was it. It was nuts because their education level wasn't bigger. You know, you guys, I know every person that's on here, there's no difference in education. They were just more consistent. And I was like, damn it.
So with putting out content, Steve, are you talking mainly about like putting out content?
Everything. Putting out content, calling people, having conversations, increasing your education constantly, just being consistent in everything that we do. Because here's a funny thing: when we work at a job, we go in at 8 or 9 o'clock or wherever you go in, and we're told what to do. You go in, you sit down, you have a list of crap you need to do in your book, and you have to do it, and it's got to be done by the end of the day. It's just not done during the week. You don't get paid, and you might not have a job. Well, when we're an entrepreneur, we're left to our own devices. So we might sit in front of our computer with this amazing thing we want to do, and all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock, and we're like, man, I haven't done anything today. All I did was scroll through stupid Facebook all day. Well, if we did that in our job, we would fire ourselves. We'd be fired. So if we want a promotion at a job, we can't just do the mundane crap and barely do enough to where we don't get fired. If we want to get a promotion, we have to learn more and get more and figure out how to do more in the same amount of time better than everybody else. So if we do that in our home business or whatever, or coaching business or whatever you guys are doing, if we start applying that there, it's going to happen. We start getting up there. All of a sudden you're like, holy crap, I'm actually having the success that I want to have. And it's an interesting, this is something that popped into my head like 2 weeks ago. And also I'm like, man, that's exactly what it is. You know, we don't treat our businesses like we did with our jobs. We just treat it as a hobby. Even if you're serious about it, it's still a hobby unless we treat it like a job, until it gets to the point where it's going to run without you and you get paid no matter what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Jim Rohn would always say, so if you want to have more, you have to be more.
Yeah, totally.
I love that. And that's true. We have to be better in every way. I mean, I think it's important for us to love ourselves now, that we are enough now. So we have that confidence, we have that belief that we can do things, but then we need to expand. Then we need to expand and start stepping out of our comfort zone, like you said, and doing things. Otherwise it's not going to happen unless we do something.
Right. Interesting.
Steve, I want before we get out here, I want to ask you about your business, but what is your daily mode of operation? Like, what do you do on a daily basis?
I get up and I'll go through the entire day because it's everywhere. I get up, I work out. I try to work out before I take the kids to school. I get the kids ready for school, my 2 boys. I take them in, and as soon as I drop them off, I pop in something into my audios, and I have Audible. So Audible is connected to my car. So it's usually it's either Tony Robbins. I've got some really crazy good stuff on Grant Cardone, and I've got some other mindset stuff like from John Maxwell, and I've got 7 Success Habits. I've got a bunch of different things I'll listen to something. So I get 30 minutes of something, and it's where I want my thoughts to go for the day. So this morning, I wanted to make sure that I was firing on all cylinders, so I threw in Anthony Robbins, and I knew that's where I wanted to be. I wanted to be freaking crazy today because I know I have a lot of appointments today, so I want to be on fire. So and I wanted to make sure that I was here and present in this. So when I got home, I immediately came in. I didn't even open my computer. I flipped on my little camera light. I flipped on my camera. I created some content, and then I enrolled my person from last night, and this is where kind of things went awry. I put them under the wrong person. So I was hammering the phones trying to get support, and I was trying to, so that was like 45 minutes. And then I jumped on here. So when I'm done here, I'll finish my content, and and then I have all money producing activities. I've got, so basically, I mean, I've got prayer and mindset, exercise, take the boys to school all within a couple of hours. And then about an hour after that, I've got content, and everything else in the day is speaking with people, having conversations. And here's the thing where most people mess this up. And I did this in the past for years, was relationships are incredibly important. A relationship grows to the next level when we are serving them the best we can. So if we go into the conversation with how can I serve them, it's giving them value somehow. So I always open up with how can I help you? What can we do? How can I help this person the best I can? And if it's a 5-minute conversation, whoopee. But I love what Ray Higdon says. If I'm not closing them on something, I'm not helping them, because free advice is the advice is typically tossed out first. When you purchase something, you take it serious. So if I've got something to offer them, I sure as heck will, somehow, somewhere. So that's kind of where it is.
Well, that's great advice. 'Cause a lot of times we feel we just want to give things and there's with no money attached to it. But unless you're paying for it, it's real easy. Just like you said, just disregard it, because there's so much free stuff out there. You go to YouTube, everything's there. Yeah. Everything is already. Hey, Steve. So before we went out, tell us what you're into the travel business, right? So what you do? Yep. Okay, tell us what how people can get a hold of you, what you do. Yeah, give yourself a few minute plug there.
Okay. You guys know that I'm in World Ventures. I hope it's okay to say. You can bleep me out if you want to. No, there's a reason I did that. Is because my family, we love to travel. I mean, that's our deal. I know we live in Florida, but we just love going places, and it's really ridiculously cheap and really, really nice places. So it's easy for me to talk to people about, and I don't publicly promote it. For me, it's all one-on-one conversations. It's all relationship building. So I'm even a little bit uncomfortable talking about it on here, and it's only because I just don't do it. But I tell you, it's we have fun with it. We like going places, and I'll tell you, my closing rate on that is probably 80% plus. And it's only because of the value that's there. It's not just travel, it's everything. It's everything that you do on a regular basis you can save on. So I dig that. But yeah, if you guys, I'm not going to put a link on here or anything like that. Just talk to me, have a conversation with me. And if it's not fit for you, you can't have it. I don't talk to everybody about it because there are some people that I just don't want to travel with.
Exactly. And you mentioned the last time you were here too. You said you're so happy. All your friends are people that are in your community, and it's so important to love the people that you're with, because if you don't want to be with them. You certainly don't want to travel with them, do you?
Right.
That's so important. Go ahead.
My best friends are in this industry. All of them. All of my best friends. My wife is the only, in fact, she even has a position in my company. Like, all my best friends are here. I have had deep, awesome conversations. I can't see everybody that's on here, but I know Jackson and I have had good conversations. I know Christy and I have. I know Ray and I have. Some of the cool closing stuff I learned from Ray. I mean, it was that Live the Dream last year. It was just, and of course you and I, Bob, it's just, I know that when I talk to you guys, our conversation is going to be authentic. It's not going to be bull crap that people like to feed each other in everyday life. And I love that about our industry. And how can I not be happy when I talk to another marketer? It's just, you get filled with so much energy and greatness, and it's just amazing. I'll tell you, I don't know what you wanted out of today's thing. I'm hoping you got it.
I think we all received a lot more than what we were hoping for, Steve. Because you are just you're Steve. You're the authentic guy, man. So it's just having you just being in your energy is good enough, I think, for a lot of us. That's a cool thing. Just being the energy of all the people that are here, the people in the sidelines. I love being same thing you just said, but maybe not as eloquently. But when you are surround yourself with people who are they're going to just lift your vibration gets lifted, your whole energy gets lifted when you're around people like that. It's so important.
Real quick, I saw Lawrence, and I don't know you as Lawrence, Larry. I'm sorry, dude. You're Larry. So I didn't get it quick enough. So funny.
Yeah, he does that. He's kind of a jokester. He's the kind of guy that would probably smoke cigarettes in school. That's a long. We've got a story about that. Okay, do you have any closing remarks that you want to say? I just put your link in there for your website, stevekrivda.com, right?
Yes.
That's way people get over it.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Is that close enough, or is there something? Oh no, it's not close enough. It's I didn't put it. No, I spelled it wrong.
There.
Let me put it.
I got it. You know, I think Bob has it hit on the head. That no matter where we are, is what we're doing. If we're grateful in everything, then everything comes. We can't go wrong. You know, if we're grateful for the flat tire, if we're grateful for waking up late, if we're grateful for breaking our toe and we can't do what we want to do all the time, there's always an alternative to what could have happened. You know, if I'm late for taking the kids to school, then maybe I avoided an accident. I don't know what he has planned for me, but apparently everything because I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. We just need to live it and do our best to be it. So when something bad happens, it was supposed to happen. Even, you know, when my mom passed away, I thought life is freaking over. But and I won't go into this. We don't have enough time. But I know that if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have met Danielle and I wouldn't have these two beautiful little boys running around my house. So
Exactly.
Everything that crappy that happens, there's an alternative. So look at it, be in it. You can be sad. I get it. But there's always going to be something good coming under the side. So as long as we continue to have hope, we'll never be unhappy.
Amen. Amen.
My battery's gonna die on my computer. I have a few minutes left. I don't want to cut it off because this is awesome.
Okay, let's get out of here. This was great. This was wonderful, Steve. Thank you so much. I mean, you're such an amazing friend, such a great guy. I'm so happy to know you. I'm so proud to know you. I honor you. Namaste, man. Seriously, you're a great guy.
Oh, love you, man. You're freaking awesome.
Well, thanks, Steve, and thanks everybody for coming here today. We had a lot of people came today, so I will put all the replay out there this morning, so it'll be afternoon for you. But so just again, thanks so much, Steve, and tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow I have actually Len Mooney has his lunch with Len at 11:30 Pacific time, so that would be 2:30 Eastern time. And tomorrow, my co-host is a lady. She's actually a medium, and she puts out some really awesome stuff. Lisa McCoy George. So check that out. You can register for all the shows. Go to gratitudetv.com/show. And hey, guys, get a chance. Go ahead and leave a comment when a YouTube video comes up. Leave a comment for Steve out there, okay? So just say something really cool, like, "Hey man, I like your haircut," or something like that, or something cool. Okay, guys. Thanks again, Steve. We'll talk to you later, then, buddy.
Cool. Thanks, bye. I'm grateful for you, man. Appreciate you so much. Love you guys. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us on a Tuesday afternoon or morning, wherever you are.
Love you, brother.
Love you guys.